How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Lorbeck Luxury Cars Friday Drives. Now, today is all about Ferraris. We've got three generations, F430, we've got the 458 Spider, and we've got the 488 as well. And I'm really looking forward to showing you the differences between the three of them and why they excite me in different ways. First off, we're going to start with the F430 Spider. Now, this car was a huge step in the production line, and it kind of carries on through the evolutions that we're going to go through in a minute. The V8 engine, the naturally aspirated engine as well. They started in 2005 and they're a timeless car. Even the styling cues that you see in between the vehicles, it's so very Ferrari, and one of the cars that they took a lot of design and influence from the Formula One team as well. And for me, this was kind of the start for me of that love of Ferraris, where that classic design, you got sort of like these little design features on the teardrop eyes, and all the way through the front end. It's just kind of very classic Ferrari. And then even on the interior, as I come over, particularly the Spider, I'm a real fan of. I like the idea of having the roof down, but these ones are more comfort seats, which I actually prefer in this car. It's not a track car. They had special versions of the Ferraris for that exact reason, and it's a little bit now. It just feels so classic, and we're only talking 20 years ago when these cars came out, which isn't really a lot of time in comparison to some of the other vehicles that preceded them, but these things are an absolute classic, and I think they're seriously good value for money as well. Now for 458 Spider, one of my all-time favorite cars. One, the Spider, I think, just looks fantastic, but the last of the naturally aspirated sports cars for Ferrari. And for a car that is now sub 500 grand, I think is criminal, because I think they're going to go up and up and up as time goes on. And for a vehicle that was, rather than the 4.7, had a 4.9 litre engine, in comparison to the F430, it punches out over 100 horsepower more than the previous iteration of the sports car that Ferrari made. And it shows that advancement in technology and engine building, but also in design. You can see there's so many similar styling cues, but it's just been elevated a little bit. There's a little bit more aerodynamics. You can see the styling cues on the lights, I think, look fantastic as well. And a few more vents as they head through the car for that aerodynamic feeling. The carbon ceramic brakes as well, particularly, not that I would take this car on track personally, but I still really like them, because once they get hot, they're absolutely brilliant as well. And then into the interior, for me, this is where the biggest evolvement of the generations comes from. Not just the styling cues, not just the engine, not the performance, but ultimately this interior now is not until 296 did they really change it that much. In comparison to the 488 we're going to look at in a minute, the difference between the two is actually quite similar, and I think it speaks volumes for what they did with 458 and how important this car is for Ferrari as a manufacturer. All right, now on to 488. This one, the GTB, not the Spider, or the GTS as they might be called as well, but you can see, same again, it's just another evolution of the car. 296 was a drastic shift after this 488, whereas up until they finished in 2019, it's still a timeless car. More aerodynamics, you can see a few more vents, a few more turning vanes and everything else as you head through the car, but this has just been cleaned up, but it's still very similar, that front headlight feeling. They just look, it's the same design philosophy, and I think that's really nice to see across all three cars, where it's a development of the vehicles rather than a complete overhaul. When 296 it had to be drastic, had to sort of come in line a little bit with what other manufacturers were doing, and they nailed it. And this 488 was that last of that series, and for me, a hugely fun car to drive. And to be honest with you, even though it is a V8 and it has the turbos, yes, the sound is slightly different to the 458 and the F430, particularly the 458. I still think they sound great, and they're super fast in a straight line, and that's kind of what you love about them. And talking about the 458 in comparison, if you have a look through the interior, the differences are actually very similar, and sort of, as much as I love this thing, that's why for me the 458 is the pick. I think, one, the last of the naturally aspirated, but also it's not a dated interior. It still feels modern inside, and for a car that ultimately was over 10 years ago these cars were built, I think it's really impressive. And that last of the generation before the hybrids, I think, speaks volumes for these as well. All the carbon interior sections, but also the styling and the performance of these is super impressive. And that's another episode of our Lorbeck Luxury Cars Friday Drive wrapped up. And 3 very different Ferraris. I've really been interested to see the differences between the 3 of them and that generational shift between each model. Make sure you go and like our channel, follow us on Instagram, keep up to date on all the cars coming in and out of Lorbeck Luxury Cars, and we'll see you on the next one.